welcome, wonderful actors. We call ourselves screeners. So, welcome, screeners, to today's free acting class.
So, as I said earlier, for those of you who didn't hear, I'm quite under the weather today. So, my voice is not the way it was, but we're going to get into the work right away and we're going to do our very best. So, this class, we're telling you about how casting directors work. So, casting directors don't watch your auditions the way you watch Netflix. They're not snuggled in with a cup of tea on the couch like I do.
Well,
They're,
especially today, I'm sure, Casey, you'll be having
yeah,
lots of tea.
exactly. Exactly. It's a big difference the way they
Yeah,
approach.
exactly. They're watching with a purpose, right? And they're asking one question immediately. Do I see the character?
They don't care if you have potential. They don't care at all. No one casts on potential. Sometimes potential doesn't play out, and no one's willing to waste literal millions on your potential.
Yeah. So listen, if you're 100% right for the part and you give off the confidence vibe, they'll cast you. And
Mhm.
honestly, sometimes it doesn't even matter if you're talented.
I know that's probably very frustrating to hear. What they want to know is, are you the character right now? Are you the character right now? Speaking of who you are, I'm Casey. I'm your acting and audition coach. I'm living my dream life, coaching actors from a little cabin in the woods with 2 dogs, 3 cats, 100 chickens, and assorted humans.
That's right. And I'm Donna-Marie. I'm your mindset and visualization coach here at Screen Acting School. So when I'm not traveling the world, I'm in the big city. I love dance, people watching, and really great coffee.
This is not a lie. She loves the good coffee. Together, we coach actors who go from absolute beginners to walking the red carpets at the Emmys, Golden Globes, and the Oscars.
That's right. And if you like the work that we do here, hit subscribe on our YouTube channel so that you don't miss a thing.
Yes, indeed. So I think Avi Kaufman, who cast Succession, said this very well. Succession, Mayor of Easton, if you haven't seen it, it's brutal, but it's so good. And The Sixth Sense. But Avi said, you're not auditioning to show us how good you are. So really hear that. This is important. You're auditioning to show us that you understand the part.
Yeah. Casting directors need to see, right, that you understand the part fast, usually in the first few seconds. So Allison Jones, who cast The Office, Parks and Rec, Freaks and Geeks, Barbie, she said in multiple interviews and panels, I usually know within the first 10 seconds if someone's right for the role. And she follows it up by saying, if I'm confused in the beginning, it is very hard to come back from that.
Yeah. So obviously you can see how important this is because if casting doesn't see it immediately, they move on.
Yeah.
And it's not because you suck and it's not because they're heartless. They move on because they're busy. But one example I think really helps you get this into your mind is when you think about love at first sight. Anybody had love at first sight? Anybody had love at first sight and you were so wrong? Like, oh my God, you actually suck. Some people say, yeah, I believe in love at first sight. I saw them and I knew. And other people say, I thought it was love. It turned out to be a disaster. Either way, what happened registered immediately. It was
Yeah.
there. That's what casting is.
Yeah. And then there's people that we feel nothing about at all,
Yeah,
right? Literally blend into the kind of nameless, faceless sea of humanity. And we forget them as soon as we've met them. That's the way it is in auditions. The actors who book don't blend.
that is right. And that is why the moment before controls everything. So the moment before is like this propulsion that moves you into the first moment on screen. It determines your body, your speed, your breath. Everything is breath. And your relationship to the other character. That all comes from that.
Yeah, 100%. And Sarah Finn, who casts the Marvel universe, said actors who make strong choices stand out immediately.
Mhm.
Listen, she's not talking about big acting, right? What she wants to see is clarity. So if you wait for the line to show the character, you're late. Too late. If nothing has happened to you before the scene starts, casting just doesn't believe you. And they're not waiting around to see if it gets any better.
Yeah. So one sure way to make casting recognize you fast is to use archetypes. Now, some actors don't want to work with archetypes. They say, I want to be original. You want to bring yourself to the role. Well, they aren't the actors who are getting 12 auditions that are due in 2 days. And I know some of you here are. So you know how hard that is. It's hard to be original when you have no time. You get 12 auditions in, they have to be in 2 days, and you have your whole life too. So archetypes are not limiting, they're readable and they help you get there fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, casting doesn't have time to decode you, right? They need to recognize the character in you immediately.
Yeah.
So archetypes let you say instantly, I know who this character is. And that archetype will be you, right? For all of you worried about being yourselves, it's going to be you with your unique existence, experiences, and point of view, really breathing life into the character.
Yeah.
So it'll be uniquely you, just you as the archetype. So casting doesn't fall in love with performances. It falls in love with people who arrive already in character. You know what? If we can name the archetype in 4 seconds, you're winning.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard, but this business is hard. So
Mhm.
you just have to be good. And if you're not on board already, I think this explanation will really make it click for you. So I'm going to take you through standard characters you see in different genres for some examples. So in comedy, we often see the defensive smartass. I don't know if this pops immediately to your mind, but immediately I see Jim Halpert from The Office. Like casting, when you go in and you play a defensive smartass,
Yeah.
casting isn't saying, oh, this reminds me of Jim Halpert from The Office. They're thinking, I know this person, I know this person. And that recognition happens right away before the line. It's in your body as an actor, right? So if you're being the defensive smartass in the first 4 seconds, you're like clocking the room, like going looking for, who's trouble for you. You're staying ahead of everyone, and you're impatient, and you've got that contained humor. So we see the character right away.
Yeah, immediately. Allison Jones, who's the casting director for The Office, actually, and Parks and Rec, says comedy is about specificity, not jokes. So, in other words, neutral equals invisible, and that's not what you want.
Yeah, I love neutral equals invisible.
Hmm.
We don't want to see that. You don't want to play it safe. Smart. In drama, the archetype we see very often is the responsible one who's tired. That's me today. I'm feeling very tired. But if you have seen Mare Sheehan in Mare of Easton, you know what I'm talking about. Oh my God, Kate Winslet is amazing as her. So, what we're seeing with that archetype is stillness. We see the weight of this person's life, we see it in their eyes, and we see you listening before speaking, processing things. Mare is a cop. We're working on cops in Audition Plus right now. There's a lot of roles for cops. But if Mare jumps into a scene totally emotional, or even in her home when she goes home, she's going to lose authority instantly. It's
Yeah,
not the character.
yeah, 100%. Ellen Chenoweth, who cast Mad Men, Fargo, has said, listen, I'm interested in what's going on behind the eyes. So we want to see how you've been affected, not, an emotional performance necessarily, right?
Yeah. Like in a thriller or a crime series kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, which is perfect because that's actually, we're working on a cop series this month in Audition Plus.
Yeah. So if you have characters, say like Gus Fring from Breaking Bad, or Villanelle. So Villanelle, her very name from Killing Eve. I don't know if you've all seen Killing Eve, but brilliant. Her name is a dead giveaway that there's an archetype being used here. Writers are using it. You need to use it too. So the archetype with someone to hide is the one that we're looking at when we're looking at a thriller or something like that.
Yeah.
So we have the first 4 seconds where we see this person is totally in control. They're calculated. There's stillness. There's like this threat underneath it. And they may be polite, but that is masking something very dangerous. So when you see this person, you see them scanning before they settle in, you see them protecting their body subtly, and you see them measuring who they trust.
Yeah, and we can read that danger in them immediately, right?
Yeah, yeah. And this is why talent isn't enough because it's not specific. Actors who don't book are usually starting neutral, trying to be themselves, which is part of it, just you under imaginary circumstances. So you can't start neutral and wait for the line and play it safe. Safe choices don't book. Actors who book arrive mid thought and they are led by behavior and by how things are affecting them. And they commit to this immediately.
Yeah, 100% Casey. John Papsadera, he cast Oppenheimer, The Dark Knight. He said, listen, confidence reads faster than talent. And confidence comes from being prepared, right, you guys?
There's nothing like being prepared to feel good when you go into the room.
Hmm.
And that's why the first moment actually starts well before the audition, well before the audition. And this is a part that many actors skip and many coaches skip coaching this. You prep the scene, but you don't prep the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And your nervous system, it always arrives before your talent, right? 100% of the time. So
Yeah.
if your inner dialogue is, "Ugh, I hope they like me," or please don't let me mess this up, your body shows hesitation before you speak.
Yeah.
So casting doesn't necessarily see nerves, but what they do see is that there's no character there yet. So we need to prep your mind for confidence, okay? Your brain, as I hope you all know, it doesn't know the difference between an imagined circumstance, what's going on here, and a real life experience. So well before the audition, in Audition Plus, we're visualizing not only the scene, but belonging in this industry, being listened to, being taken seriously. And we prep you for your arrival in film and TV because arrival is the first moment, right? So when you pair archetype with visualization, your body chooses a posture,
Mhm.
your breath settles, your energy lands. You don't try to be confident. You remember how this kind of person moves. So by the time the camera rolls, your nervous system already knows where it is. And that's why casting says, that felt so grounded, or they felt present, or they just felt like the character. I could see it. Because the first moment is something you arrive in. Mental first, then physical second, then the text last.
It's all preparation. It's all
Mhm.
preparation. And inside Audition Plus, this is what we change. We train. I see you, Kara. We'll get to you at the end of the session. So inside Audition Plus, we're looking at behavioral specificity, getting really drilling right down into the character. We're looking at mindset and visualization alignment. So that means you are getting into the reality of the character's experience and your own, and archetype clarity so that you can create that character right away. Moment before prep, emotional connection, core four audition choices, and also creating killer callbacks.
Yeah, absolutely. So casting doesn't have to imagine you in the role because they don't, right? They just see you. And that decision happens in the first 4 seconds. So, listen, next week, we're going to be working with you on creating the most castable emotional change, just like we do in Audition Plus every month. And what you're learning here matters a lot. It really does in these free classes. But insight alone doesn't change careers. Audition Plus is where we teach you how to do this consistently and professionally. How to walk into auditions ready, how to create that first moment that really gets you cast, how to make choices that hold up, in person in audition rooms. And we're selective about who we accept because we only want to work with passionate, dedicated actors. So we will ask you to fill out a written screen test to tell us everything. We want to know your experience, your fears, your goals. And I'm going to pop that link in the chat for you right now so that you have it. And listen, we don't guess at what will bring you success. We coach you on it. So if we invite you in, it's because we believe in you and we're prepared to do the work with you. So your dream is not silly to us. And we know that sometimes people don't believe in it and sometimes they laugh at you, but we do. We do believe in it. And it's our mission and our responsibility. And we take that really seriously. So I will pop that link in one more time. And then I think we're almost going to say that's a wrap for us. Kara said, I agree. No one else teaches this visualization or puts so much emphasis on mindset. Also, their breakdowns of the moment before was super clarifying. I've been to lots of schools, but they don't break this down for learning like screen acting school.
Oh,
Thank you,
thank you,
Kara.
Kara.
That is so kind.
Did you have a question, Kara? Because you had your
Lisa.
hand up.
Yeah, so I was just kind of wondering what would be your advice for if you've got like balancing two archetypes, like if you've got one archetype pretending to be another, like say a villain pretending to be a victim. Do you normally start with the villain so they can see the villain first and then go into the victim? Or I don't know, just kind of like how would
What
you
a
kind of
wonderful
find that
question.
balance?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So the I'm going to answer it in two ways. So the first way is how you prep for yourself. So when you're creating the character for yourself, you're going to start with the villain and understand what built the villain. And part of that might be that they were victimized. So you might find the victim within the villain. Are you with me so far? Yeah. So once you do that, then you can dress the villain up in the victim's clothes, essentially, and show it that way. So that's your preparation part. The audition part, should you be doing this for an audition, the choice you make is dependent entirely on how the character shows up in the script and what casting has written in the breakdown. So you can't make that choice arbitrarily. You need to look at all of the given circumstances, just like a usual character. So you're reading through to understand what's going on for that character right then and there. Do you have an audition for that? Because that sounds wonderful.
Oh yeah, I do actually. Doing that today. That's why my hair is curled.
How clever of you to ask in class.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
But I'm just thinking because you always say in the first, 3 seconds show like, and then you can get into the scene. So if like, let's say that your character is normally a rebel, but the scene's not about being a rebel, you would show that hint right at the very start before like having something that would transition you into the rest of the scene.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if I should do that same thing, like show, yeah.
Yeah, I think my answer to that would remain the same. Just check with the sides and see, and the script and the sides and the breakdown, and see what they're wanting to see first. See what, because you have two really distinct things going on, right? And they might want, you don't know what they're going to want to see. You can only use the breakdown and the script to guide you. But either way, you're going to have a strong performance because you know the two characters that are going, the two archetypes that are going on there. You know the disguise and you know the real person. So villains often just want to be right. You know what I mean? So that's that part of it might, I don't know if that'll help you, but it might. But yeah, you're going to kick ass. As Yvonne says, you're going to do great.
Yeah, wonderful. Such a great question, Kara. I'm just reading some comments. Lisa said this is the only training platform in the industry that I've taken classes with that does this kind of training. It's made such a big difference.
Well,
Oh,
thank you.
wonderful. And we are so proud of you, Lisa. You are kicking butt and taking names. Great, great job.
Yeah.
Do you see Jessica? Do you have a question? We finished a little early today, which we
Uh,
don't normally do. So if you'd like to unmute yourself.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was just wondering, for self-tape specifically, how do I maintain the character before, but slate as myself? If there's just like a few seconds of a gap there, how do I go in being the character? Like you said, you need to enter mid-thought, but how do I do that if there's only a few second gap between slating and starting the scene?
That's a great question, sweetheart. That's how old are you?
I turned 18 today.
Oh,
Oh,
happy
happy
birthday.
birthday!
Happy birthday. Yay.
Wonderful.
So a lot of times you just shoot the slate at a different time. So you don't do it together. You don't do it at the same time. So you just cut it together. Can you edit your work? I'm sure you can. You're 18. You know how to use. Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So just slate first and then cut it in. And
Mhm.
sometimes you can tail slate it, so you can put the slate at the end of the audition. It depends on what casting wants. So you just have to check the breakdown and make sure. So that's how you do that.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, if they want you to have to run it all together, you just transition almost like your this is a little cheat that I've taught a lot of actors to oh, you're getting lots of birthday wishes, kiddo. Um
Thank
so
you, everybody.
you transition almost as if you're leaving a room and coming back into a room. So I don't know if you've ever had one of these auditions, but you probably many of the people here have, where you get an audition and it's like 4 or 5 pages long, and you're in 4 or 5 different environments, and they want you to run it as one. And you're like, and one's in a car, and one's in a bank, and one's here in a hospital, and they want you to run it as one. And you're like, what? So what you can do is just look down and look up like you've entered a new room or something like that. And it's just a small transition, a small physical transition that helps you as the artist transfer from one place to another. So much of the work we do is physical. So this is something we're working on. Am I going on too much?
No, you're okay.
Am I okay?
Yep.
Okay. So much of the work we do is physical. So one of the things that we work with is Chekhov. So Chekhov is a style of preparation. It's not acting, it's a style of preparation. So it's like kind of like a workout for actors. So what you do is you use your physical body to, I guess there's only one kind of body. You use your body um, to move in such a way that what is tangible, like your physical body, the way it moves, creates something intangible, like your emotion. So, if you look, do this with me. So go, everybody can do it. If you look over your shoulder like this, how do you feel?
Like I'm being watched.
Like you're being watched, and maybe a little flirty, like if you
Yeah.
tilt your head a little bit. It's different than if you just tilt your head this way. So your body, Logan's like, flirty, I know this one. She's like, I practiced this one. So this oh, demure. Yes, that's really sweet. Yes. Uppity and sexy. All good, because everybody has different experiences, right? But your body was leading the way. So your body is the physical part of it. So that's why that little look up and look, or look down and look up transition, or look back and look forward transition helps your body get into the next space that you're moving into. So the slate would feel like one space. This is me under this circumstance telling you hello. And then the scene is you under the other circumstances doing the scene.
Yeah.
Brian feels sneaky.
Such a great question, Jessica. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And very happy birthday to you. I
Yeah.
want to touch on a comment that Chloe made here. And Chloe said, I used to drive to new places before the day of so that the nerves of trying to drive there didn't affect me for interviews and different things. Chloe, this is brilliant. This is something I have done my whole entire life. And this is exactly the same thing as what we are doing in Audition Plus, right? So your subconscious mind was prepared. It knew where you had to go and you took away all of that stress and that nerves for your subconscious. You know what? Your body's been there, your brain's been there. We're doing the exact same thing in Audition Plus with archetypes, so that when you get that audition, you can take a look at the script and go, I know this. That's the rebel character, or that's the girl next door character. So your subconscious doesn't have all those nerves when you walk into that audition room. You can just put your best foot forward and show your incredible work. So I loved that comment, Chloe, and thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, practice, practice, practice.
Mhm.
So Maria's got a question.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
A question. I had a workshop with this casting director, and he talks about this alpha, beta, and omega. So, yeah, because I didn't know that, because I know archetypes, we have a lot,
Hmm.
but this alpha, beta, and omega was new for me. So, is this also part of the archetypes? So, I was confused with this workshop because he talks about characters.
Yeah, I think he might be talking about levels of energy and types of people. So
Mm-hmm.
so you know an alpha character, what they're like, or do you know what an alpha person is
Yeah,
like?
confident, so sometimes maybe arrogant, like maybe a doctor in a series which is very confident.
Yeah.
So I think like an
So
alpha.
so we might think they would be, right? Like, so there would be different types of doctors. So you could have, the doctor is a great example. So if you take you have three doctors, you have one who's an alpha, one who's a beta, and one who's an omega. So you would have different versions of that doctor. Each of them would know how to, sorry, how to
Poor
speak
Casey.
the jargon of a doctor. And each of them would have their own take. So each of them would have their own take on it because they are having different experiences in the world. And you'll see this in your life, right? Some actors are alpha actors. Like Tom Cruise is an alpha actor.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, so hopefully that
Yeah, that helps.
helps, Maria. Wonderful. Well, guys, I'm going to pop that link in for you one more time, and then we are going to say that is a wrap for us. So if you would like to be considered to join us in Audition Plus, you can copy that link right now and go ahead and fill out our screen test. We look forward to hearing all about you and getting to know you from your screen test. So have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. I see lots of thank yous. You are welcome. Absolutely our pleasure. And we're going to say that's a wrap for us.
Bye, everyone.